Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to day 26 of the 31 Days of Horror. DBougie86 here. Now, the film I got for you guys today is from 2008, which is crazy that this film is almost 10 years old now. It's kind of crazy, like looking back on some of these reviews and films that I do reviews on, and seeing how old they are as time goes by. Because films that I watched, like growing up and stuff, are getting up there in age, which makes me feel kind of older in some aspects. But this one's a very interesting one. It's part of the Fangoria Frightfest line, which was released by Phase 4 Films, which is a line that's kind of like a hit and miss with me. Like, even like the Fangoria Frightfest line is kind of hit and miss. Most of the Fangoria lines are hit and miss. But this one seemed interesting enough for me to revisit. It's been a while since I've seen this one. And that, of course, is titled Pig Hunt. Yes. This film is directed by Jim Isaac. If you don't know who he is, he's he started out his career in like visual effects and special effects, and then he went on to direct feature films. Like the first film that he did, like partially did actually, was House 3, aka the horror show. He actually took over the directing for the original director who was fired during production of that movie. Then a few years later passed by, like actually a lot of years later, like 2005, and then he went on to do Skinwalkers, which is a mad kind of werewolf film. It has some moments that I did enjoy about it, and some aspects that I enjoyed about it, like with effects and stuff like that. But the story is pretty like bland, stuff like that. And then of course he directed Jason X, which I know a lot of, especially like the Friday the 13th, like fan base is kind of like hit and miss on it. It's a fun movie, but it's a pretty bad Friday the 13th movie if you look at that aspect. I'm like one of those crowds that I like Jason X for what it is, but I understand it's a bad like Friday the 13th film. It's a cheeseball film for me personally. And this is his last film, unfortunately, because Jim Isaac actually passed away in 2012, so rest in peace to him. So pretty much the main plot of this one, we're introduced to our main character, John, who we find out has inherited this big ranch from his uncle, who mysteriously passed away. We don't actually know how he passed away, and Jim doesn't really know the full details of what happened to him. So they end up going on like a buddy trip with his buddies, and they decide to go on a hunting trip. So they tag along, and actually John's girlfriend Brooks actually ends up tagging along too. She doesn't want to be left home alone by herself, pretty much. So they end up going to his uncle's ranch, which is in the deep backwoods countryside, where it's next to like this small like area where like this hillbilly family lives that John's actually acquainted with a few of their relatives, two brothers in general. And what ends up happening is these two brothers end up coming to John's uncle's ranch, and they decide to go hunting with them. So it ends up becoming like this very like hunting expedition. And as we find out, like during the travels, they find out about this legend of this legendary wild boar known as the Ripper, which is like 3,000 pounds and huge and could kill people and stuff. It's been killing people. That's why they call it the Ripper, pretty much. So they ended up going hunting for the Ripper. As this hunt proceeds, a lot of crazy things start happening. That's where I'm going to leave this one off without going too far into it. Now, my thoughts on the film. Batshit crazy plot, man. This one's awesome. It has a lot of aspects of like different types of horror films that I enjoyed growing up in, a lot of aspects of other films. It's pretty much the way I would describe this as like a creature feature mixed with Deliverance, mixed with like Southern Comfort and some aspects with that too. It's like a survive against like these hillbillies, and then they throw in like this crazy like cult that worships like this killer pig in the middle of it, and a lot of like other references and a lot of cool aspects to it too. The acting's pretty good for what it is. It's little shaky performances here and there, but the acting for the most part, they do look like they're their characters pretty much, and they are believable in the roles. And another interesting fact about this film is the soundtrack's amazing. And the soundtrack's done by legendary Les Claypool, of course, of Primus, who actually also has a cameo in the film and it fits perfectly with this type of film and the way that the film is and the aspects of it with his boom and bass sound, and it's amazing, especially when you have like his eerie like hints of like the boar stalking people, and all you hear is like a little shadow of the bass in the background. So it fits the mood and the setting of this film great, and it's awesome that he's actually in the film too. He plays like this crazy like preacher like hillbilly guy. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, this film's fun as all hell, and the best part about it, the pig's practical. Yes, the pig is actually practical effects, and it looks pretty good. You don't really get to see a lot of it until the very end of the movie. A lot of the pig's actions are through like POV shots of the actual pig, like like it's his actual POV when he's attacking people through most of the film until the very climax of the film, and he's very huge and awesome looking and has some distinct features. Not really like that though. It doesn't really. He kind of looks like that a little bit, but a lot worse. Pretty much. That's kind of like a little hint. But they are these little piggies in there too. There's little piggies in this movie too, which is cool. So yeah, I highly enjoyed this. This is a fun ride film. So if I had to rate Pig Hunt, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's super fun and it has a great story and great like characters and stuff, and just a lot of aspects of like a creature feature slash like backwoods like hillbilly film that I like, and has a lot of like craziness going along with it. Maybe like my mind gripe of this film though is maybe like a lot of the cult stuff isn't like more explained. Like they explain like the hillbilly stuff and the pig stuff very well in this film, but it kind of felt like out of place with some of the cult stuff. That's all my major gripe with the film. But other than that, it's still a fun ass ride, and I highly enjoyed it, and it's highly entertaining. Great film, Pig Hunt, 8 out of 10. All right, guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, we'll be back tomorrow again, peeps. So I'll see you then. Peace out.